What's the motherfucking deal? Welcome to the Den. I am your host, Ed Honcho. I'm glad that you could join today. Let's get the proper protocol started. Let's get this party started. I'm going to talk about a couple of things, some ideas that are in my head. I'm going to get on today's topic. And it'll probably be a little bit of a short, probably about an hour and a half today. Probably might not go the whole 2 hours today. I've been a lot of background, revamping, working on some stuff, just getting, I got to get better at some stuff. I was very upset with last night's stream and how everything turned out. Part of it was out of my control, but there's motivation for improvement. It has to be. Every day has to be a bit better than the day before. That's just where we're at right now. Had a serious sit down with myself, but let's get it going. We'll talk about it. First, Ed Honcho HTX on Instagram and Twitter. You can follow the proper social medias, Instagram, Twitter, folks who fuck with that. Hit that like button, and if you're new to this, you just subscribe, subscribe, and make sure you share. Sharing is the most important thing you can do at this point. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all Den Show Live. If you want to send an email, denshowlive@gmail. It's supposed to be at 1 o'clock, but like I said, we're doing some extra work, and some other natural things took place, so I was a little bit delayed. 10 p.m. live every night, 7 days a week. If you can't watch, listen on the Den Show podcast. We make sure to catch up with all the rest of the episodes there. If you want to get the Den Show some merch, you want to get a shirt, you want to get a mug that you see me often drinking out of, go to denshowshop.com. 833-284-3336. If you want to call the Den, whether we're live or not, that's the number to call in when we're live. Even if we're not, you can call in. Most likely I probably won't answer, but if I do, and I got a few minutes, I'll chop it up with you. You can send a text message, screenshot a picture message, funny meme, whatever it may be. You can always send that to the Den line. It's always greatly appreciated. If you want to make a one-time donation to the channel, you can go to streamlabs.com/The Den Show. And just make sure you don't have no extra boxes or anything checked. But like I said, I told you I'm going to be working on. I know people who said, I missed part of the stream when I go to the Den Show, the Streamlabs. I'm going to be working on it. Hopefully I'll have that fixed up by Friday. And then if you want to support the long-term success of this channel by making a monthly pledge, you can go to patreon.com/The Den Show, and I'm going to talk about that here in just a second. Shout out to K Grace, Stina Starry-Eye, James, Diana, Dan the Man, Donald Trump, Miss Goya, and James. I believe I got it right. But I appreciate everybody. I thank all of you who have been rocking with the channel. So like I said, last night I was frustrated. I was frustrated as fuck last night. And so I'm just looking at some things, and I'm just looking at growth, and I'm looking at the way YouTube is acting. I'm looking at my analytics, and that, and shout out to Culture for that, the automated thing. And I'm just sitting there looking, I'm just like, what, God damn it. It's time to go a little bit hard. It's always time for improvement. There's always room for improvement. So, as I'm still figuring out what I'm gonna do with some of these other videos for the Patreon, what I'm probably gonna start doing is the regular or the shorter videos. I'm probably gonna cut out a couple of things because I know what YouTube doesn't like. But the streams will probably primarily stay the same. The streams don't get you any growth anyway. Streams are just people who come in. If they fuck with you already, then they fuck with it. The streams don't really grow at all. Like, none. YouTube doesn't promote them like that. So, the streams will probably stay the same. I will still be the profanity-laced, ridiculously ideaed Honcho on the streams, but I probably will take the shorter videos, and I fucking hate to do it. I hate to do it because it really feels out of the element, but we'll figure it out. The ones that I post on YouTube will probably be a little bit more, I'm not gonna say PC, but they won't be as profane, I guess. But then, like I say, for the Patreon supporters, because I'm gonna be using a different platform and things for that, or be promoting a different. I'm gonna try 2 or 3 different things today to see how they work. So stay tuned for that. On those, then it's still gonna be the same. The stream's still gonna be the same, but streams don't get promoted anyway. And then, like I say, for the Patreon supporters, I'll still definitely, the content that I put out exclusively for you guys will be the same. And then, aside from just uploading the streams to the podcast as of late, I'm going to be doing more podcast content. So make sure, if follow the Den on your favorite podcasting platform. It's now on iHeartRadio. So it's on iHeartRadio, Stitcher, iTunes, Google Play, somewhere else. I can't remember. It's everywhere but Spotify. But I got a I gotta figure out what the Spotify. I gotta reach out to the service I used to reach out to Spotify and see what happened or why I got rejected. So see if I can get that fixed. But you know, here's my thing. Let's see who we have join us today, and then let's get to the conversation. K Grace, what's the motherfucking deal? White persuasion. You know what I'm saying? you bringing hurricanes back? Is this the thing? I guess I talked about Harvey too many times. Nana Diana, what's the motherfucking deal? 335, what's the motherfucking deal? T'Challa, what's the motherfucking deal? What's 18? 18%. What the hell? V Darko, what's the motherfucking deal? What happened to say? You just paid off your last day 0 day. That's what's happening. That's what's up. That's a wonderful thing to hear. Ben Joba, what's the motherfucking deal? Keep it real time, Riley. What's the motherfucking deal? Shout out to Florida. Everybody in Florida ain't bad. Let's see. DeMarkey, you gotta watch out for DeMarkey. If you're wearing a brown shirt around DeMarkey, watch yourself. Ladies, watch yourself. Man, they're like, because what you gotta realize with YouTube, they have like automated shit to do everything because it's impossible. They have this machine learning, and the machine learning is programmed a certain way to promote a certain idea because it's just too many videos that get uploaded for them to manually review all of them. So profanity doesn't help. Certain words, they don't even like using the N-word, any of them. They don't like saying niggas, they don't like saying Nazis. But so my thing is this, like, the streams will be the streams. I'm not gonna change streams because streams just don't get that type of promotion anyway. Like they just don't, nobody who's just bored is just gonna come in and watch a 2-hour stream. Like if you're watching a Den stream, it's because you already fuck with it. That's pretty much it. So that's not gonna change. But shorter videos is what gets growth and what gets promotion, what is what people are looking for. So in the shorter videos, I will try to keep it a little bit more clean. But I'm gonna do some other things too to go along with that. But it is what it is. Alicia Moore, what's the motherfucking deal? How you doing today? Let me see. Noah, click what? I'm fucking that up. Let me see. Yeah, just on the short videos, man. Jair, what's the motherfucking deal? Yeah, because that's what they want to do. They want to sell you a bunch of shit because basically YouTube is like trying to become a cable network almost. You know what I'm saying? That's basically what they're doing. They're trying to. They have to pay for the shit. I mean, they have to have advertising. Advertisers want. They want that family-friendly shit so they can promote it to more people, but they need that premium HBO type shit that you get in the Den, you feel me? That's what they need, you feel me? Fuck family-friendly. We saw that shit. That Disney shit wasn't family-friendly. That was the same family beating each other up, and that shit got hella views. I've been hanging around California, people saying hella. Got a gang of views and shit. I hate the word hella too. Why did I say that? Got a gang of views in a fucking day. That shit was that was everything. That was like everything that could not be anti-family friendly. That was like the most anti-family friendly shit you've ever seen. But anyway, let's talk about it, man. I'm not dissing the team. I'm just waiting for something specific with those guys. But I got you. No, trust me, because like I said, I sat down last night and I had one of those personal honcho self-talks, and we came to some conclusions. We came to some to an understanding. And I want to say, I'm not going to say I'm fully 100% organized right now, but I have an understanding. Some things it's going to take a day or two to work back into the process, but better content, better everything. It just has to be. You showed up and ruined it, Kenneth. Now, let's talk about it. So today, what we're going to talk about, I'm going on my rant. I've done all that. For training codes, I'm going to be all right with that. Because that'll probably be the last Den show ever. When White Persuasion, I got you in mind. Because White Persuasion has done a lot, and I appreciate a lot of things White Persuasion has done. Not only in the Den and in the Sauce, especially Sauce MVP. But like I say, when we get things right and we find the solid location after some things get together, definitely got to have White Persuasion in the studio. And Beyond the funny, they're gonna have to be the co-host because he can provide the comedic relief. Because I just be saying corny shit, but it's entertaining to me, so that's all I care. So here's the deal, man. Yeah, that was Disney friendly. That was yeah, but you can put it on your resume. I will never have Kenneth in the den. If Kenneth comes to the den, y'all will see that slap that I've been telling you. Y'all saw how Buddy was slapping old gal last night? Now, I ain't gonna slap Kenneth that many times, but he gonna catch one of them. You know what I'm saying? It's just gonna be just one of the ones that put her down, one of them open hand slaps, one of those, that E-Honda, pep, 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 pep. It's just gonna be one of them, yeah. That's what it's gonna sound like, yeah. And there we go. So there we go. But no, we're talking about it. So yesterday we got into a conversation early, and damn, it slipped my mind what the conversation was yesterday. Early, the morning conversation. But we came along to a part of the conversation where we were saying, hey, well, you know, what do you call one another, right? What do black people like to be called? And so someone called in and they said, hey, you know, they didn't like to be called African American. Someone else called in and said, hey, you know, call me African American. Or somebody said, you know, hey, call me black. I don't like the African American. I don't have the ties to Africa. I'm gonna say it was prepaid. And then somebody else said, hey, you know, I don't. You can call me black, but don't call me blackie, or you know, this, that, and the third. It was POC. Yeah, we were talking about POCs yesterday. And so how POC is basically the same thing as saying colored people, right? It's just been flipped around, kind of with this little liberal, you know, glaze over it, and to make it sound like it's PC. But it's the same shit. What's the difference between colored people and POC? You're people of color, right? Again, a larger group of people will slide under that umbrella. The other one is generally referred to as black people. So I don't understand why black people are embracing the POC label. If you want to let everybody else have it, fine, let them have it. But if you're embracing the POC label but didn't like the colored people label, then well, it's the same fucking thing, right? What is the difference? A few letters switched around, you switch the ED for an OF and rearrange some words. But, so, not to harp on that anymore, but I guess that's part of it too, because some people want to be called POC, and back in the day it was colored, and, you know, people probably said refer to themselves as us colored folks. Some people probably said, you know, Negroes, or you got a lot of people today. We had a debate on niggas and the ER and the EA. I mean the EA Sports, the ER and the A. You know, we had a lot of different discussions on the terminology that should be used when it comes to wording and black folks. And the thing about it, and I want to say Miss Bell asked a while back. I might be wrong. It might have been Miss Bell, might have been someone else. But I want to say it might have been Miss Bell. And Miss Bell's always so tactful with her questions. That's why I like Miss Bell. But it's basically like, what do you call someone, you know? And so my thing is about, instead of getting mad and getting enraged and everything, let's educate one another. Let's all get understanding. We all have to live on this planet for a little while, however long it's still around. You know what I'm saying? Let's try to work it out, right? Because we got bigger issues. We got to plant some trees, and you know, the cows are farting and all that stuff. So. Only one, what's the motherfucking deal? Nachos, what's the motherfucking deal? Let me see. Mark Poole, what's the motherfucking deal? Man, I don't even want to talk about I'm going to talk about some things in the near future, because I told you we're going to have a very in-depth discussion Saturday evening, so I hope everyone is prepared for that. And if you got plans Saturday evening, well, hopefully you can come back and watch it Sunday, but we're going to have a very in-depth discussion Saturday. I'm going to bring back an old topic. And we may have I don't want to say we're going to have an extended end, but it may lead up to that, because it's going to be a very good conversation. But, you know, my thing is lots of different terms, right? Some people say, hey, well, I'm not African American because one, and I know people say Asian American, but then even when it comes down to Asian Americans, they have their like little subgroups. So it's Japanese American, Chinese American, Vietnamese American, Taiwanese American, whatever it may be. There's like a lot of them, and you know, Asians are like prejudiced against each other. I learned that from watching Amy Wong stand up. There's like dirty Asians and like good Asians and dirty Asians. Something they said, I forgot how she said it, like they were, because she was talking about she was mixed and the dude she was with was mixed, and they were part clean Asian, part dirty Asian. I thought that was kind of funny to know that. But there's a lot of them, but they have the specifics, right? And most most subgroups have like a country attached to it, not a continent, like Africa. You know, it would be, I don't know if it's a Ugandan American or if you got a Ethiopian American or something like that. But so my thing is this: is it different than anything else if you say African American? Because like I said, some people don't like the term. What's wrong with black? You know, you call people white, so what's wrong with black? I mean, there's so many different ways of, I guess, describing it. But the thing about it is that no one will ever be pleased. No one will ever be happy because somebody will always be upset no matter what the terminology is that you use. And so that's what I'm trying to fit the pecking order when it comes to Asians. I'm not even gonna. I was gonna say something, but I'm gonna leave it alone. What about Asian food? But I don't know if all that stuff pecks. They say it's chicken, but Chicago Mike was a classy guy. All right, he was a classy guy. So I met an Asian lady who's married to a black man who says she considers her husband brown. She says it's black, pointing to the color black. He's not black, he's brown. Okay. I saw an Asian lady who threw a big box of shrimp fried rice in some black lady's face. So I don't know what she thinks about that. Then them two little niggas finna whoop their ass. So, but my thing is, like I say, ultimately, because you get people who get upset no matter what. I think you have people who are just gonna be mad no matter what. You could call them all the shit they want to be called, and they'll still be pissed off about it. And just because they want to be pissed off about something. Because then, like I say, all these new terms they're coming up, and I didn't address just POC. There's the, and this is all that intersectionality, this is all that identity politics shit. And again, as a person who considers himself an independent, just not really, but I see it coming out of one side more than the other. There's not just POC, there's WOC. So they have to not only have POC, people of color, there's WOC. There's no MOC though. I wonder why. Anyway, shout out to Shannon, shout out to Jess Sarah. What's the motherfucking deal? And so, like I say, there's a lot of OCs. This shit probably started. I wonder if it started in the OC. Who knows? But all of these little subgroups and sub definition for people to. This is what kills me, right? It's because people don't want to be labeled, but then they want to create these labels for themselves. Then they don't want to be treated separately, but then they separate themselves. Like none of the shit fucking makes sense. And so that's another part of this that's bothersome. But trying to understand what people want to be called. Me personally, because I don't think I addressed it. I don't really think I addressed it. I don't necessarily, as with most things, give too much of a shit. Because my thing is, say if I can tell, and you can tell, man, and that's what kills me with a lot of people, because they just feel like because you don't use the terms they want. This is almost as bad as the zer and z and all the extra pronouns that certain groups want you to use. I'm not with all that shit, man. Like, I don't have time to understand that. And so in the same space, like, I'm not expecting somebody who might be outside of the particular group that I'm in to come in and know, well, should I call him black? Should I call him African American? Should I call him just an American? Should I call him... And you know, that's funny because African American comes up way more than Black American when you look for search terms, but that's a whole different thing. And shout out to D. Nelly, because I know she uses the term Hebrew Israelites, right? And so that's another caveat that certain people use. So again, there's so many different terminologies that people use to identify that who really knows, right? Who really knows? I'm not expecting someone to come into MySpace and be able to say, hey, MySpace, Tom, to come into MySpace and know exactly what I want to be identified as. Now, I don't find it rude, because you see people who get upset if you ask them questions. Well, how would you like to be identified? Well, what do you think? People get mad about anything, and I think people are just angry. I think there's a lot of people who are just angry and they look for any excuse to be mad. But like I say, I'm not going to go and guess what pronouns you want to be used. Anytime if I get something to eat, if I go somewhere, if I talk to somebody, you know what I say. If you look like a woman, I'm going to say, hey, thank you, ma'am. And that's how I am. If I say, if you look like a dude, I'm saying, thank you, sir. I don't care if you got a feminine ass accent or say your voice or whatever it is. If you look like a woman, I address you as a woman. If you look like a man, I'm going to address you as a man. So that's just how it is. Like I don't have time to figure out your pronouns. Like I have much more important considerations in life. Motherfuckers trying to say it's but 232 pronouns. I don't have that kind of time. All right, I'm struggling to drink 128 ounces of fucking water a day right now. That's more important to me than learning your fucking pronouns. So I don't expect someone in the same token. We're talking about token blacks. God damn it. In the same token, to come into a conversation with me, not knowing my personality, not understanding my background, and immediately knowing what I want to be called. So that's why I say that's why I'm a firm believer in educating in the opportunity you have, as opposed to getting mad and getting livid. Now, if you come on, hey you greasy nigger, you want a piece of fried chicken? Well, then we gonna have a problem. Like then we gonna have an issue like that. Come on now. And I'm not going to say I'm going to beat you up over it. You know, I'm going to figure if they have the chicken first. Now, if they don't have the chicken, then it becomes a problem. But I'll bullshit to the side. Like, I was talking about it yesterday with shout out to Miss Meat and about your power. I'm a firm believer. Like, I'm not going to give somebody my power. I'm not going to do it. I cannot do it. I cannot give you the remote control. I cannot hand it over to anybody else. And just knowing that I can say certain words, even if I mean them or not, and I know that I can solicit a reaction from you, and I have power over you. Regardless of how it makes you feel, you have to control those emotions, control those feelings. You ever fight mad? When you fight mad, you fight poorly, you fight sloppily, you know? So that's why even in a verbal altercation, even in a physical altercation, whatever kind of altercation it may be, don't get mad. Don't allow someone to get you mad and enraged to where you make a move or you make a decision that ends up in costing you the game. You know what I'm saying? And that's how I feel about shit. I don't know. Here's the ticket. Who had the juicy chicken? Who's that shake and bake? You know what I'm saying? So there's my thing. But what if you don't know someone's name? Or what if you're asking a question about a certain culture group and what they feel about that? You know? Yeah, you find like it exactly. Man, I went back and looked at that picture, and if you see, there's one. It looks like a bunch of women, even with that dude in that picture. It's a crazy thing. But you know what I'm saying? Let's talk about it. I just don't like I just don't like this name, so I'm gonna do this. Just to do it. So that's my deal, man. Like, I'm not gonna let you get upset, but yeah, if I get the win by getting the chicken, I win. You can call me names, but I came away with some chicken and a full stomach, so I win. You think I should have hit him with the 3600? Okay, I'll backdoor hit him with the 3600. So I'll hit him with 1 second. This hit him with the tiger uppercut. Fuck it. Why not? How about this? How about I do this one for academics? Let's how about that? Let that be a warning. A warning that DJ Academics, you know, I can bring the heat, man. So, oh, there's more. It can get worse. But we won't be seeing DJ Academics for a while. All right, so here's the deal, man. Let me open up the line. I want to know what you guys are thinking. I want to know how y'all are feeling. I know I didn't spend like 30 minutes. I know we said we're only gonna do an hour and a half, but we get some good calls in, and we'll rock with it. But shout out to all of you, even those of you who stuck around after the stream got a little wonky. You know, it happens. I don't know what it was. I mean, it just got a little crazy. Got a little fat and sassy. Oh man. Crazy stuff happening in the world, man. Crazy stuff happening in the world. I know a lot of people have been asking. A lot of people came to the channel following because of the Malia Davis story. I was looking at that, and I see that they reset his deal. Let's take this call. What's the motherfucking deal? Who do we have calling into the den this afternoon?
Hey, my pumpkin, this is Miss Grace.
Miss Grace, how are you doing today, Miss Grace? It's always good to hear from you. What's on your mind?
Yeah, Well, first of all, I'm trying to catch up on your videos because they told me they need a teacher for summer school for the little special ed kids, and I can't pick up that money. 4 hours a day, 4 days a week for 4 weeks, and then I leave the country in August.
Oh yeah, you gotta do that.
That's right, that's right. But listen, and let me tell you the other thing. At our school, they have there's 4 houses, and 2 of the houses are completely reserved with the air conditioning for the kids from Central America. I don't even feel like I'm in America. So this is the 3rd year I've had to practically kick in the door and take a room for my special ed students because they have asthma. Some of them are on the autism spectrum. They're overweight, you know what I mean? And they feel like they're dying. You know what I mean? So I need air conditioning. So my tax dollars are paying for all these other kids. Well, I'm going to tell you what, I'm getting mine too and my kids, and we're getting into the air conditioning room. And if she comes back to the room again, I told my kids already, I'm going to tell her, you go and tell somebody to come in here and move me and my kids out of this room because that's not happening. Yeah, that's ridiculous. But listen, POC, that's too many words. Who got time for that? You know what I mean? Just call me black. Call me colored. You know what I mean? I don't care. It never made a difference to me, and I never tripped over anything like that. And, and as black people, we don't even know what to call each other. No. Because we get angry at each other. Because I'm fair-skinned, if I refer to someone as black, I've had some people try to fly off the handle and say, what do you mean black? I ain't black. Acting like I think I'm better when I'm clearly black. No. I have some of our black people that if I say Cape Verdean, because my mother's from the Cape Verde Islands, they get mad because they think that we're trying to be something else. When I explain to them that the Cape Verde Islands is off the west coast of Africa, so we are Africans, they're not satisfied with that. But yet they can run around talking about their Cherokee Indians all day, don't know a goddamn thing about a Cherokee Indian, don't know what they eat, don't know how they dress, don't know how to speak a word of it. They don't know anything about the Cherokee culture, but I can tell you about my Cape Verdean culture. And we just celebrated our Independence Day July 5th because we gained our independence July 5th, 1975, from Portugal. You know what I mean? And so we have July 4th and 5th, and I cooked the manchoop. We had our Cape Verdean parade. You know what I mean? Everything, all the festivities was going on. But yet I have my other side, my African-American side, that gets very angry because they act like we're trying to climb out of something or trying to not claim something if we identify with our Cape Verdean roots. That's what we do. That's the food we eat. Those are the clothes we wear. That's the language we speak. My kids, we learned some of our tongue. My mother spoke 4 languages, and not one of my people from the Cape Verde Islands, anybody that comes from over there, none of them speak less than 4 languages. If you run into one that speaks 3, that's one of the dumb ones. Okay? Really. So when I would go into the bilingual classrooms, the Spanish kids like to speak Spanish, and Puerto Ricans, well, they're American. Oh, I am from Puerto Rico. You know what I mean? They think their language is the best. They think that if they speak English, it's beneath them. You know what I mean? And so when I go in and talk with my kids from Cabo Verde, asking them what island Budapest Creole, you know, ask them if they speak the language, what island they're from. You know what I mean? And the Spanish kids, that's not even a real language. I said, what do you mean it's not a real language? I said, your language isn't a real language. I said, what language you speak? They said Spanish. Don't say that. Somebody from Spain said you ain't speaking Spanish. You mean your Spanish isn't right? And then I go on and try to be nice to the kids. I said, what language do we speak here in America? They said English. People from England said we do not speak English. It's not the same. It's not the King's English, and your Spanish isn't the proper Spanish. So what that these kids speak an African Portuguese language, you know what I mean? That's not exactly like Portuguese. It's a language, and they speak 4 or more fluently. My mother also fluently. Okay? So, so I never cared what people called me because I am who I am and what I want to be. Nobody defines me. You know what I mean? So you can call me black. I was like one of the only black teachers in the schools. They'd say the black, and they look like, oh, the black. You ain't gonna. Don't get nervous saying that. The black teacher, the colored teacher, the whatever. I don't care. It doesn't make a difference to me. All that should matter is that I care about your babies, and all I want to be known as is a good person. That's it. You know, I don't want to be defined by color. And the way black people are acting up, I sent you a text earlier. I was sitting on the wall waiting for my babies to get dropped off on the buses this morning. Honcho, I was rolling up on that wall by myself, laughing out loud, watching that damn Disney fight. What the hell? You know what I mean? So I have divorced myself from being black, because that was some full of fucking niggatry shit, bullshit right there. You're doing acting like that. That's embarrassing. So now, from now on, when I do surveys and fill up paperwork, I'm going to start checking off other. Because I'm embarrassed. I am embarrassed. Our people are just acting stupid. We were such a proud people. Now we're proud about doing dumb shit. You mean when I was coming up, you know what I mean? I would have friends that say, oh, come on, you got to keep it real, keep it real. Yeah, I want to keep it real, but I'm not going to keep it real dumb. Yeah. You know what I mean? When I try to do something better with my life, I had people that tried to stop me if I didn't want to go out. They'd say I was boring. You know what I mean? Or when I was going back to college, you know what I mean? I had friends that actually followed me there. You mean just to try to sabotage and mess up because people don't want to see you get ahead. A lot of people don't. So when you just go, you do what you got to do. Nobody gets in my way. There are no such thing as an obstacle. You know what I mean? I will go over, under, around, or kick it down. I'm going to do what I want, and I am who I am. You know, so I get sick and tired of all of these POC and black and goddamn brown people like it's doo-doo and all this other foolishness. You know, I don't play all that. But that's all I wanted to say. I don't want to say too much. I'm trying to behave. My son is downstairs. Okay. And I don't want him to go, oh, man, listen, my mother's on that phone again talking to Honcho.
They ain't gonna like me. Well, that's a bit, Miss Grace. Well, I appreciate you calling in and sharing that, and give us some insight on the Cape Verdean. That's very interesting. I'm gonna have to look a little bit more into that.
It is, yeah. We're Africans. That's what we are. We're Africans. You're from the west coast of Africa. A big slave trade went on there, and when I went to Senegal, I went over to Goudet Island where they prepared the slaves. Besides, I told you I went to the Pink Lake and things. You know what I mean? And we're part of the Mandinka tribe, and I believe they say they branched out to the Wolofs. You know what I mean? And I said, I'm not exactly sure. That's what I heard when I was over there. But we do know, you know what I mean? Most of us, when we did our DNA, the ancestry DNA, a lot of it were from Senegal. A lot of my people are right in Dakar, Senegal. You mean over there near Mali. You know what I mean? And there was a big slave trade that went on right over there. You know what I mean? So that's what we are, and we live it, and I'm proud of what I am. And the other thing, one more thing before I hang up, my DNA, some friends of mine said, I'm related to 3/4 of the people in town. And I said, I looked at it because I was curious to see where I originated from. You know what I mean? So I said, I looked at that, but I don't care. I'm not going to dissect all these other little things because I am who I am, and there's not a damn thing I can do about it. I don't care what kind of blood I have in me. I don't care if it's black blood, white blood. I don't care because I'm going to love all of me. I don't care who gets mad about it. You know, if I came up with a light skin because somebody got raped back then, well, that's what happened. I'm sorry that happened, but I'm here now, and I love all of me. Okay. And I'm going to leave on that note, my Honcho.
Ms. Grace, I appreciate you calling in and getting the conversation started today.
Okay, then. Thanks, babe.
Right,
bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right, y'all give me a second. I'm going to pause the line for just a second. I've been trying to be cool and let Scotty come in the den with me, but he's getting annoying. So he was just over there chilling, minding his own business. Now he is tripping. And shout out to Dad Strong, man. I'm gonna go back and read that comment. Just give me just a second. I'll put y'all on hold. I'm gonna come right back after these messages. this real quick. But yeah, I agree, man. And ultimately, it shouldn't be. And again, I know people can be disrespectful about your exterior image, but if you know what you are on the inside, does it really matter? Like you can understand, but once you have those internal forces built strong. That's what I was talking. I was talking to Miss Meat about meditation and not giving a fuck, not giving away your personal power and things like that. Once you have your internal forces built up properly, that external shit don't matter. Because think about those people who did integrate, regardless of how you feel about that. But look at those people who did. They had to have a level of internal fortitude that allowed them to progress through all those turmoils. Dan's gonna say, yo, Honcho, we should be called niggas because we constantly call each other that and get surprised and mad when someone says hilarious. Afternoon, y'all, would be saying. Then this is part of my thing, and this is part of my deal, right? And people get upset about it. People get mad. But what's the thing? You give the blueprint on how to treat yourself. You give the world the blueprint on how to treat yourself, right? And when you do that, you can't expect them to not treat you. If you treat yourself like shit, then the rest of the world will be like, well, they don't give a fuck about themselves. So why should I, elevate them? Why should I treat them like that? Shout out, see Miss D. Nelly come through. I see Miss Cartier come through. Mrs. Meat, sit your ass down. Miss Bell, let me see if I missed anybody. Professor Trio, what's the motherfucking deal? Sean King, you are not Honduran, you're white. Maybe a bourbon aficionado, that'll work. But yeah, so all I'm saying is that what is the proper terminology? Like, how is someone supposed to know? With so many people wanting to be called so many different things, because like I say, we even saw it yesterday that there was a variety of opinions on what to be properly called. How is somebody supposed to know? How is somebody supposed to be familiar with, well, I should call this person this, or I should call this person that? I mean, especially if I'm just coming into the situation and not really knowing who you are and not having a chance to really get to know you, and we're just having a simple conversation. How am I supposed to know what to call you? And again, I look at it the same way as the pronouns with the beyond the funny nigga. We still got to talk about that towel, goddammit. You know what I'm saying? We still got to talk about that towel. But my thing is, to me, it does not matter. I know whether or not you're trying to approach me with respect or disrespect. I know if you're pushing a boundary. I know if you're trying to, squeeze out a reaction. And so we handle it accordingly. But if I know that you're being genuine and you're not trying to upset or you're trying to inquire or whatever it is, I'm not finna berate you, attack you, and try to just, I don't have that level of anger within me. The things that I get angry about are, but a lot of stuff that we talk about isn't stuff that I get angry about. Like I feel like a lot of it's unfortunate. That's unfortunate. I feel like a lot of it is dumb. But the thing that I get angry about, the things that I get angry about is generally when there's kids involved and the kids have no say, so the kids have no power and they have to suffer living with these shitty parents. Like last night dealing with those fucking shitty ass parents. Those fucking kids embarrassed for life. This is something that's going to be on the internet forever. You know what I'm saying? Forever. And oh shit! I'm laughing at the best Miss Grace just said. But you know what I'm saying? My thing is this, man. Call me whatever you're gonna call me, but just make sure you label it with a level of respect. Because if not, then there's gonna be an issue, man. There's going to be an issue. But again, so like I say, when it involves the kids and the kids have no say, so the kids have no opportunity for a better life, and these are people that are raising these kids. And the fucked up part about it, this is something that I've always said, and whether you agree or not, and I'm not gonna say it's nothing is ever 100% accurate across the board when you make these statements like this. But let's be honest, Stupid people are procreating 5 times faster than intelligent people. Okay? Period. And that's the problem. That's why America is becoming the way that it is. Because stupid people don't have anything to do with, they're not going to read a book. They're not going to go learn. They're not going to do something productive. They're going, fuck, what else is there? No, I don't know. Everybody, that's the one thing that everybody can do. You can be all the way out of there. But everybody can, fuck, it's not a hard thing to do. So getting pregnant is not a hard thing to do. So again, these people are just popping kids out and wondering why, I guess. I don't know what the fuck is going on. But they're procreating faster than people, say, who have a life planned out for themselves. So say I'm going to go to college, so I don't want to have a kid now because it's going to hinder my timeline. Or I want to start a job and I want to make sure I have a foundation for the kid before I have a kid, and I don't want to have to deal with government assistance or anything like that. So I'm gonna wait and I'm gonna get some things together. Then you have children maybe later in life, and you don't have as many, or maybe you decide, hey, maybe 1 or 2 is good. But you have people, they 14, 15, 16, got 2 or 3 already. By the time they're 25, got a litter of them motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? Got a motherfucking A team and a B team, pee-wee fucking football and shit. You know what I mean? So it's like, these are the people that get mad when you tell them, hey, what you doing ain't necessarily right, or what you doing ain't necessarily beneficial. These are the people that have the situations like that at Disney World. These are people who don't want to take information, process it, and realize, hey, you know what, I could be a better version of myself. I could be a much better me. It'll take some work, but I could be a much better me. And what you have now, again, is, and I talk about it, this is what I really believe happens in America, especially with this thing that we do here, and that is we elevate the youth way too much, like with the MTVs, and even with a lot of this stuff and social media and all this other stuff. You have grown-ass people looking towards children for advice and guidance. Who was it? I think Trill sent me that a while back when Killer Calion was saying, like, shit, it's like the little niggas are the big homies now. Like the little dude, the big homies turn to the little dudes for advice and stuff now. And that doesn't make any fucking sense. It's like now you got grown-ups looking at these little kids for advice and life experience on it just doesn't make, it's all ass backwards. It's like an American thing. Other countries, they respect elders, they look to them for advice, they are the matriarch or the patriarch of the family or whatever it is. Over here, you got goofy ass little dudes with 15 accounts like Kenneth, and everything out their mouth is old head, and their footwork is bad. You know what I'm saying? Like they gonna try to talk about you, but they got bad footwork. So that's all I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? And that's the thing, man. That's the problem with it. And so, but that's America though. But when you embrace these kids and make them feel like they're something and so what happens with these kids, especially when you got adults looking at them like they know what's up, or they're allowing them into a grown-up conversation. I'm a firm believer of child's place and child's conversation, grown-up's conversation. When you're brought into, that's how I was raised. And I seen the difference between that, and then I had a cousin who they used to let him be in all kind of, and the difference that happens with that. And we'll carry on this conversation in just a moment. Well, what's the motherfucking deal? Who we got calling into the den this afternoon?
This is DJ Academics.
So anyway, like I was saying about teenagers, and what's happening now is that people are putting them on a pedestal, so they think that they're grown at 14, 15, 16 years old. And a lot of people, once they think they're grown, that's where they stop. They don't pursue education. They don't want to get better. And they struggle for some years. What's the motherfucking deal? Who we got calling into the den this afternoon?
Hey man, this is Kemah.
Oh, Jair, what's the motherfucking, why don't you say that first, man?
Oh no, dude. You must got me confused, Honcho.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, what's on your mind there, Kenneth?
Now I want to speak on how you just said that the little homies are turning into the big homies nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
Well, whose fault is that? You know what I'm saying? Whose fault is it that this is happening?
Well, if you
Because obviously, sorry,
if
they
you
are-
if
they're
if you
obviously
if you
slaves, or they're hanging around they're hanging around someone. So are they just hanging around each other and they don't know shit, or how is it? Why are they getting this way?
why is it getting this way?
Because y'all
They don't know shit.
learning it.
They don't want to listen.
So
Y'all
whose
watch.
fault is it for not teaching them anything?
It's y'all
You know what I'm
fault.
saying? It's supposed to be taught.
It's the
Like, aren't
Hondurans'
y'all supposed to
fault.
be the OPs that know it all?
It's
Aren't y'all
it's the
supposed to be the ones
Hondurans'
teaching these
fault.
kids? Yeah.
It is the fault of the Hondurans. I blame Honduran people for everything.
Definitely. Nah, but all seriousness though, man, like, y'all gotta be accountable, bro. It's obvious that y'all not teaching them. Y'all ain't teaching them right shit. And y'all wanna know why we don't respect some of these old people, bro, when y'all try to tell us shit, bro? Because a lot of y'all is goofy, bro. We can't take some of y'all seriously, bro. You know what I'm saying? When you only listen to the people that you respect.
Right,
I don't
right.
care what nobody says. You only listen, or majority of people only listen to the people that they respect.
And y'all eat
So if
Tide
they
Pods,
don't
right?
listen to you, bro. You know what I'm saying? So look, the reason why I take you seriously and why I listen to you is because I respect what you do, and I respect what you say, and I respect, and I try to listen and be open-minded, but a lot of these old niggas are just goofy, and they don't, you know what I'm saying? They can't teach me nothing new. They can't teach me nothing what the fuck, so why should I listen to these niggas? So that's what happens, and then we end up turning to advice, from our own friends, and they don't know shit either. You know what I'm saying? So, and that's when the shit starts fucking up, and that's when we start out doing a lot of goofy shit because we don't have guidance. But we don't have proper guidance to say. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And look, about the Disney shit. Look, check this out. That's just a bunch of niggas. You know what I'm saying? That's what I call it. It's just a bunch of cool activities. You know what I'm saying? I don't even pay attention to this shit because the shit was just lame. Like, that shit was just straight up lame. Like, it's just, and that's the thing that y'all don't understand, bro. You be like, you know what I'm saying? Everybody always talks about black empowerment is black and do black this and black that. All right, y'all better. So are y'all, and see, the thing is, these type of people, y'all be trying to make sure they come along with the ride and shit. You gotta leave these niggas. They can die. You know what I'm saying? I don't give a fuck how y'all take it. These niggas can die. These niggas don't need to be brought into the future with us. You know what I'm saying? They can stay right where they at. They can stay in their own place. They can stay in the hood. We don't need to bring them along. If they wanted to come along, they will come along, bro. You can't force someone to. You can take a cow to the milk, but that's the thing, man. Fuck it. You can take a horse to water, but you can't make him drink it. You know what I'm saying? So y'all keep trying to bring these people along to the ride, bro. They're not ready. You know what I'm saying? You can't force them to do anything that they don't want to do. So I mean, that's all I kind of want to say, man.
All right. Well, I appreciate you calling in and giving your insight as one of these young youth and your perspective on why y'all don't listen. So I appreciate you for sharing that.
Yeah. No, man, because like, think about it, man. Like, a lot of the people that are being raised, when people say that, these kids don't know shit. How about we teach them? Well, how about y'all teach us something then? Since we don't know nothing, how about y'all take the time out to teach instead of just saying, oh man, fuck these kids, they're a lost cause. Take the time out to teach them something, and they wouldn't be a lost cause. You know what I'm saying? But that's all I want to say, man.
Okay. All right. Well, I appreciate you calling in with that, kid.
Appreciate it.
And young Honduran has a point. Who do you blame? Who is the fault? I mean, where does that start? But that's a whole other conversation. I'm jotting that down. We'll venture into that conversation another day. And so there's that. But very, very valid point. Somewhat. It came from Kenneth, so I don't know how much. I don't know how much I want to give him credit for it, but so again, my thing is this though. What we're saying is the teenagers and how America pushes this idea of looking towards the youth for advice and for all this other shit, and then the kids do it too. But there's another level to that, and we'll get into that, like I said, another conversation. But other countries, it's the experience is respected. Now it's all about fashion and all this other dumb shit, and then you get these ignorant behaviors. Oh no! All right, here we go. What's the motherfucking deal we got calling into the den this afternoon?
Hey, it's Belle. How you doing?
How are you doing this afternoon, Miss Bill? Always good to hear from you.
Good. Ready to get some pistachios. Besides, I was listening to Kenneth, and he's right and wrong about some things. One of the things that the youth does not understand is that there is a certain amount of respect that's not given that should be for the fact that we got to this age because we lived one day at a time. And it comes across too with today's X generation of being, what's the word that they use, entitled, and all into their feelings and oversensitive rather than just sometimes shit happens and suck it up. And they don't want to give respect to the elders because we've already walked that road at least once. Yeah, we may not have anything to reteach you, but that doesn't mean you still don't need to learn, young pup. Yesterday's thing with Disneyland was a total farce. I mean, I've seen white trash do the same thing as that particular situation, just not on that viral level. It is completely and utterly just not cool. But as far as the ethnic stuff and the racial stuff, I'm not getting in any of that because, like I said, white trash is white trash. I've seen it happen at reunions and birthday parties and crap like that after somebody's had too many drinks.
Yeah.
So, but that's just kind of what was topic for today?
We were trying to figure out what is the appropriate thing to call, or what do black people want to be called, or do we say black Americans, African Americans? We kind of venturing off the POC conversation from yesterday. Just what is the proper term, or how do you handle it, if you know, or how do you identify? Because we had a lot of differing opinions even yesterday when we were talking about it.
I totally agree. I've been asking for years because I'm the least person that wants to offend anybody. So if y'all come up with an answer, let me know.
Yeah, I made a slight reference to you earlier in this stream because I was like, because I remember Miss Bell, I think she asked a few days ago, and so yeah, we're gonna try to figure out a solution here so everybody can walk away safe and nobody's feelings are hurt and everybody's a-okay. So we'll
That's
see what we come
awesome.
up with.
The other thing is Kaz's kind of right. We do need to talk about the younger generation being really disrespectful to their elders and not giving some of the props that are deserved. Because, heck, you know, some of us have lived 50 years, some of us lived 70 years, and y'all are just a quarter into your life.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's, like I said, another topic for another day. But I'm back to the boards. You got any other questions for me?
No, ma'am. That's all I got for you.
All right. Have a good one.
All right, Miss Bell. Appreciate you for coming through.
Yep.
And I agree. and that's the part of it, see, and that's the with the youth. And again, I don't want to venture that conversation because we will save it for another day. But y'all, they have this expectation of that the old folks are going to give me the story of life. They're going to tell me everything that I need. Nobody can give you that. That comes from having multiple experiences, and part of it is creating your own story. What's the motherfucking deal? Who we got calling into the den this afternoon? Hello. Okay. All right, got no answer. But like I say, part of that is taking advice. Part of it is your own experience and having to see things from your own. Because you can tell somebody everything in the world until they run their head to that fucking brick wall, they're not going to believe it. So again, it takes experience to go along with that. What's the motherfucking deal? Who do we have calling into the den this evening?
Oh yeah, man. I'm
I'm sorry?
Oh, my name's Zach, man. I was just calling in because I heard a little talk about youth being disrespectful.
Yes.
My take on that is basically he's speaking as someone who's a youth.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think the adults have been there to even guide us through the bullshit to go through day in and day out.
Mm-hmm.
And on top of that, you have those people who are, let's say, well, I come from the hood. Let's talk about stuff like OGs in our neighborhood and stuff. They don't tell us stuff like, hey, you really, when you drug deal, you only make about $4.41 when you do the math and you add up how many hours you put in and stuff like that. But instead they glorify it. And we don't have people looking after us and telling us right from wrong, or trying to encourage us to actually, go out there and get a job or something. They rather just, tell us what we are doing wrong instead of correcting us and showing us exactly what to do.
So with that, and like you say, you talk about the hood and you talk about things, and I think that's why I say we're going to have to dedicate a real whole stream to this topic, because it can get very, maybe we might talk about that this evening. That might be interesting. But here's the deal. One, look, well, I understand that when you really weigh out the whole hours and everything in, when you're talking about dealing drugs, it's a different thing. But you gotta pick a better product. Nah, but all bullshit to the side. But how can someone tell you who doesn't know for themselves? And that's what I'm saying. That's part of my problem with a lot of the issues within the hood or urban community or low income community, whatever. They have poor role models, and they embrace the materials instead of the real work ethic, the stuff that really goes on. And then you have guys, the people who do well for themselves, doing the right thing. Well, there's no reason for them to stay there. But yet we go ahead and we encourage the youth to admire the basketball players, the sports, the athletes, like I say, the drug dealers, 'cause they're the only people you seeing around there with nice cars and nice things, entertainers and shit like that. So that's a problem. You have a lot of parents, especially depending on when your parents had you. If they had you young, shit, they don't know shit, so they can't teach shit. And that's why part of it is, that's what I'm saying. That part of it is you kind of got to learn some of your own lessons. So I cannot blame all of the youth, but then part of it is the fact that there aren't really a lot of role models there. But there's a point where you get to a certain age where you know right from wrong, and you can understand that, and you just have to talk, because you have more information these days. You have access. The youth have had access to something that we did not have. Like, we used to have to find out either the hard way or our own experience, or hopefully somebody was in our lives to teach us. Now you have every piece of information you could want to know about anything in the world is available to you at the palm of your hands. All you have to do is ask the right questions. If you ask the right questions.
Can I speak on one thing, though?
Go ahead.
Can I speak on one thing real quick?
What's that?
All right. You talked about choices. We all got a choice to make, and we have to know right from wrong, right?
Yeah.
Didn't our OGs, not even OGs, just elders back in the day, like during the 1920s all the way up to the 1970s, when gang violence became prevalent, when we were under the Black Panther Party, didn't they know right from wrong, when and when not to put drugs into our community? Because, I mean, they had a choice whether to pour heroin and cocaine into our communities, but our adults, our elders did that. And by default, us kids, we suffer from that.
But then when it came to the putting the drugs in the community, who do you think was really doing that? Was it the older generation when the drugs were coming into the community that was doing that, or was it the younger generation having access, being youthful and ambitious enough to do that?
Can you repeat that real quick?
I said, so what I'm saying is, so when that happened, when that came into the community, was it the older generation at that time that was pushing that out, or was it the youth of that time who were ambitious, who had the energy and willing to go through those things, that was actually putting that out there?
That's because no one was telling me what was wrong to do. No one said, hey, you know what? Do not do drugs. You can make a lot of money off of this. I'm going to get the consequences.
It's real tough to hear you, because it's cutting in and out real bad.
Huh?
It's cutting in and out real bad. Like, I couldn't hear really any of the last thing that you just said.
I apologize. What I was saying was, back in the day when drugs flooded the community or whatever, and the adults had the choice, they definitely could have said, hey, you know what, don't deal these drugs. But because it was so easy and they saw the money and they treated money as, hey, we poor, so we need money, instead of, like, my mom is 67 years old and my dad is 76. Mm-hmm. My dad, his parents grew up in a shack with 12 of them. They were dirt poor, but yet they were able to, live a good life. Everybody loved each other and got along. Why do we have to flood money into the community and flood drugs into it just to be happy? I think it was an illusion put there, some by the government, but mostly by ourselves, because we.
The last thing I heard was mostly by the government, then by ourselves, that it kind of cut out after that. But I was listening
what?
to you. I said you said something about an illusion put out there partly by the government, but mostly by ourselves, and it kind of cut out right after that. I don't know. Okay, because I'm trying to hear what he's saying, and I understand. I think where he's going because, like I said, it's kind of cutting in and out. So I can't really hear everything he's saying for some reason. It's cutting in and out. But I understand what he's saying. But then that comes down to personal responsibility because let's be honest, it's not the majority of people that are selling drugs. It's the few, and it's the money, the power, and everything that comes with that. And money talks and bullshit walks. So what it is, you let the few that are selling, that are bringing it in or whatever, they infect the many who may be using. But I don't think it's even the majority of people that are using. But I mean, if you take a significant, even if it's a sixth of the population, a fifth of the population that is using it, can cause a lot of damage. So all it is just that you got to be. There's a point where you can look at it as a whole. There's a point where you got to look at it as individuals. And with the drugs and things like that, again, what did most people who started doing all right for themselves and they had the opportunity, they left those situations. A lot of people who embraced those situations or put people towards those situations perpetuated a lot of the detriment that we're having now. So I get where he was going, but it was kind of going from the youth to the other thing, and that's not necessarily the conversation we're trying to have today. So hopefully maybe we'll talk about it maybe tonight and he can call back on that. But the thing is now, there is no excuse. Again, we can go back. We go way back in the time. We go way back in the time because what a lot of the youth complain about now is like, well, why don't we have the stuff that they have? Well, guess what? Back then, we didn't have the stuff that you have. Knowledge is the power. You have the knowledge in the palm of your hand. So if you don't have that person right there in front of your face, the same way you can find these new fucking rap artists that are trash, the way you can find these new YouTubers, the way you can find all this other new stuff, is the same way you can find the answers to your problems. The thing is, do you really want the answers? Because there's a lot of people who want to complain about the problems, but they don't really want the answers to the problem. Because then guess what? When you get the answer, now it's on you to fix the shit. And so then it's up to you. So then if you don't go and you don't go get the solution, or you don't go out and put in the work to fix it, or you don't go out and you realize, hey, well, it's going to take a little bit more effort on my part. Well, I don't want to do that. I'd rather sit back and complain. That's the problem. That's the issue that most people have. Most people don't want to do all that. They just want to be able to point fingers and say, well, it's this person's fault. It's that person's fault. It's the motherfucker down the street. It's the person at the store. It's the politician's fault. And yeah, everybody may have a small inkling of something that they put into a problem. But ultimately, the person who has the most power in this situation is you. You have motherfuckers there's more millionaires being made now than ever before, ever in the history of time. Like it's now. People who are not leaving their homes becoming millionaires. People who are doing the most good. People are becoming millionaires from playing video games. You could not imagine shit like that. You think I was gonna become a millionaire playing Nintendo? Huh? You think I was gonna be on Super Mario Brothers 3 trying to get the little raccoon suit making $1 million? Not gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? You think I was gonna be in what was that, World 8? Trying to dodge the fucking cannonballs and shit, making $1 million. It's not gonna happen. So my thing is like now you have more entitled, more people complaining more than ever, but you have more opportunity than ever. The only things are the opportunities may have shifted from what was traditional, but even you have access to situations that were traditional that have changed significantly. Let's see what's going on here. Now it's still doing it. It's still doing some of the in and out. So I apologize if it's lagging a little bit. So that's the problem is people just don't, people expect shit to just fall out the sky and just fall in their lap. They expect to shit to fall out like the Skittles rainbow or something. I don't fucking know. There are more opportunities now than ever before. Like, I can sell shirts from this stream, right? People have ordered shirts, gotten shirts, whatever it may be. I've never touched those shirts, right? I've never touched those shirts. I set up the design, I find a way to facilitate it, and the shirts get to people. Back in the day, I'd have to go, and I've done this still time. I think I'm actually about doing it again too, maybe doing like a limited run on a certain design real soon. But back in the day, you'd have to go to somebody, You have to pay them, get the shirts, ship them out yourself. And like I said, I did that recently with some soft shirts, so it's not like a big deal. But there's a whole level of stuff to it. You know what I'm saying? This lady does it all. There's a lot of people who do it, who create from their home. They either use they have a printing press, and I've been thinking about wanting to get a printing press. There's people who use those computer printers, right? There's people who use a different, and they do everything from home. Shit, some people might even sew the shirts from themselves. So all I'm saying is now there's more opportunities than ever, and there's opportunities that weren't available back then for people to capitalize on. What's the motherfucking deal? Who we got called into the den this evening or afternoon?
Oh yeah, man. Back again, man. I'm sorry I got disconnected from y'all.
That's all good, man. Yeah, the thing you were saying last, you were saying it was an illusion, a bit from the government, but mainly because of people themselves with the drugs.
Yeah.
Okay. And so, what my reply to that was that, you know, I don't think it was necessarily everybody, but it only takes a few. You know, the same saying that you use when you hear people talk about either cop shootings or all these things, the bad apples, and the same thing happens in the community. Like, I don't think the community as a whole was bad. Like you said, I think you said, what was your grandpa or your dad? I can't remember what you said. It was 70 something. They grew up in a shack and didn't have a whole lot. You know, that's the mentality you have to be having. There's a level of integrity. There's a level of a mentality that you have to have, and it has to be instilled in you. And some people like it the fast way. They see what the next man has, and they don't see the work he put in to get there, but they're willing to do it the fast way. They're willing to sacrifice the people around them. But I think that comes to a personal level of integrity.
That's very true.
I don't think that goes around on the whole community, but then the whole community does get impacted by the, what's the word? Not residual, but the effects of people doing these things, either selling, the violence that comes along with it, either using, the thieving, the you know, the kids, everything, just the poverty that comes with that, and it can have a long-term impact. So I definitely understand you on that. But again, I think too there were transitions where new drugs were coming out where people didn't realize the long-term effect on that. People say, oh, you know, just want to have a good time, and then until it's too late to realize that, hey, well, you either permanently addicted, your life is permanently ruined. And I think there's so many caveats when you get into those things. But my biggest deal now is just that, again, I'm not a person who, I understand what took place in the past, but you can't harp on the past, especially if you're living right now in the present. What you can do is take advantage of every opportunity that you have now. And like I was saying, is that you have the technology now, you have access to information that even 10 years ago we didn't have, or 20 years ago, shit, when I was getting out of high school, didn't have. And the internet was around then. You have access to it. You have opportunities that are just created every day. You got people posting fucking pictures on a website and becoming, you know, millionaires, making six figures, and then going to Dubai and people taking dumps on them. But that's a whole other story. But people are making livings off of the internet. The internet didn't exist like this 20 years ago for people to do this kind of thing.
For a second?
Yeah, go ahead. What you got?
All right, my thing is this. You can't blame the kids for what they're doing if the adults won't even take a little responsibility for why the kids are in the predicament they're in. Mm-hmm. Like, you can't be like say for instance, 10 years ago, my dad sold someone's house, mm-hmm. and I'm living in their house, but the person who my dad sold the house from, calls the police, and the police ends up kicking me out. Mm-hmm. My dad's long and dead, but I'm suffering the consequences for it. Mm-hmm. What I'm saying is the adults haven't taken responsibility at all for the conditions that the kids are in. So the youth are suffering, and we are suffering on a large scale. We're dying left and right. We're strung out on drugs. We're even committing suicide at an extreme rate just because people say the wrong things, and we have expectations to live up to because people say if you're a black woman, you can only get as far as your looks. You could be powerful or whatnot, man, and men, you can't do anything but sell drugs and rap and dribble a damn basketball. And that's the image that even our parents put into our head because they let us watch the TV. They let us watch the TV, and when we get it in school, they want us to play sports as men. As men, they want us to do that because they see, hey, that's where the money is. You can live prosper. You can be like other people, and you can fit in if you just do sports and be talented in physical attributes. Like I heard this song from 2 Chainz called "Forgiven," and in the end of it, there was a black woman who came up saying, "White people love black men's strength, but don't love black men." And it made me think about it. I was like, man, you know what? That's very true, because I mean, if you think about it, I'm from Alabama, and we love some Roll Tide football around here. And they'll fly an Alabama flag all day long, but the second the game goes off, you still a nigga when you're walking around. They don't see you no different than their ancestors saw you about 200 to 400 years ago. They don't give a shit about you. And my thing is this: I don't see parents saying, "Hey, let's start a new television program predicated upon successful black businessmen," or some shit like that. Because I mean, the only thing my parents really had to show black kids was the Cosby Show. Like the Cosby Show, that's it. That's the only good family had. That and fucking Will Smith and Good Times. And Good Times, I like that one because at least they had the black man in the household, you know. Did his part, he was there for his family. But we don't even get that out of anything we put in today. I mean, as a kid, I'm out here seeing my homeboys over here slanging dope, swear they're gonna make some money, and I'm making more money than them, getting fucking $11.50 an hour, and I'm not even killing myself to do it. And that's crazy, man. Kids out here, they don't realize that the gross domestic product for selling drugs, like illegal narcotics, is 0.7%. Not 7%, 0.7. That's not even 1%. So kids are thinking there's money in drugs when there's no money at all. And they're thinking, oh yeah, weed's the best cash crop ever, but weed ain't really producing that much money. It's not a Microsoft, it's not an Apple, it's not a business. It's not. It's a cash crop, which is now Oregon, they have so much weed, they don't even know what the fuck to do with it. They losing money. And my thing is, if adults really want to see kids stop doing all the shit that they're doing, first you got to teach the kids who they are. And if you don't teach them who they are, the shit is going to keep happening and happening and happening.
Okay. But what if these people didn't have that? What if these people weren't taught? Like, how can you sometimes teach a person what you never learned?
Teach a person what you never learned? What you mean?
So there's a lot of adults who have gone through something. Here's a couple of caveats that I'm going to throw out there. You have certain people, again, like you talked about, the kind of made a reference towards the single women and stuff like that. So what about the moms that are out there working hard, busting their ass, that are trying to take care of their family? So maybe they don't necessarily have that extra time. Maybe when the kids are around or whatever, they're tired.
Hey, hold on. Nah, my thing is this, with the extra time thing, I call bullshit on that. Because if a parent could come home after working a 12-hour shift and scroll on Facebook and media and watch TV for hours on end, you telling me you can't take 30 minutes out of the time to teach your child something? You can't do that? Like, that's bullshit. I call bullshit on that.
Okay.
When people say they can't do something, your children should be the most important thing to you.
So again, and this is what I'm going to tell you now. If that person is coming home and the first thing that they're doing is scrolling on Facebook and Twitter and doing all that, they probably don't have much to teach.
Well, what?
If the first thing that they're doing after working that 12-hour shift is coming home and spending all their time on Facebook and Twitter and all that, then they probably don't have very much to teach their child.
Yes, they do. Anyone can teach anyone. You can learn from a fool. You can learn what they're doing wrong to teach them what to do right. You can learn from anything around you.
Okay, so if that's the case, why aren't the kids just watching what their parents are doing and not making the same mistakes?
No, because the reason why they can't learn from the parents and do the same mistakes, because when they see their parents doing it, they think that's the right way to do it. If you see, like, if I saw my mom smoking cigarettes, I would say, okay, it must be okay to smoke cigarettes. She didn't say, hey, it's bad for you to smoke cigarettes. She didn't say none of that. We go off of what we see as a child. Parents got to start taking responsibility accountability, bro. I'm just saying, like that's kind of messed up. Like you target the kids saying, man, these hoodlums out here slinging drugs and selling dope. I don't see families out there trying to create businesses, but I see young kids trying to because they see the G's up.
But what I'm saying
I
there,
don't
all right, if
see
you
them
if,
doing that.
and that's the thing right there. It's about where you're looking. And again, you cannot place all the blame on the youth. Again, your environment will dictate a lot of it. But at the same time, you see things, and if your curiosity leads you to follow down a different path, then you will discover a lot of stuff. Same way, like I said, people can find these new artists. They can get online and they can find. Why can't you find certain information? If you know that, hey, there's something I'm not getting out of this household, I know it won't be the same as love and it won't be the same thing as nourishment and things like that. But there is access to information in this day and age that, because trust me, the youth now, they feel like they smarter and know everything more than everybody because they are more informed. They're not more knowledgeable, but they're more
I can tell you
informed.
why they can't find the right information. The reason why they can't find the right information is because there's so many distractions around. Just think about it. Just think about it. If you look at the political spectrum, there's the left wing, right wing, Democrat, Republican, libertarian. Even when you think of sexuality, you have straight, gay, lesbian, bi, transgender, queer, all this shit. Kids got too many choices to choose. Too many fucking choices. I know it's funny, but just think about it. Even in sports, you got 32 basketball teams, you got 16 football teams. You got too many choices. Everybody's going to be divided. Everybody's going to be divided no matter what. Like, I don't get why black people we're in this country that our ancestors built up for free off the sweat of their literally blood, sweat, and tears to build this country up, but we have no part in it. But yet we're saying, hey, be a part of this nation that doesn't like you. I'm not saying, hey, move back to Africa. I'm saying, man, like, why won't y'all start up your own? Start up your own. Do something for yourself. Because, I mean, when we had the Negro League, it was booming hard.
So why is that then? Why do you think that is? Why do you think that is? That, that one, we're not taking part in it, and then why do you think that you can talk about segregation, and black communities were doing better in segregation because they were forced to work within themselves? You're talking about the Negro League. So why do you think that is, that as soon as the opportunities came, that the blacks, abandoned that and they went and joined the more national leagues, or they integrated, or all of those other things? Why do you think that is?
The only reason why a black person I'm not being racist, but this is just fact. The only reason why black people will join with white people, and don't call me racist because my wife is white. My wife is white and I'm black as hell. The only reason why a black person will join a white organization is because they want to fit in with white people. We want to. Just think about how it was when we had a Black Wall Street. We had a Black Wall Street that had, businesses booming so well, white people got mad and started killing us. Mm-hmm. We had businesses out the ass just flourishing all over the place. And then right when white people caught on, they were like, hold on, niggas ain't suffering no more? Oh, hell no, we can't have this shit. And they blew the hoe up. That's what happened.
And you know what they did though? After all that turmoil, after all that strife, what did they do? What did they do over there on Black Wall Street?
Huh?
I said, after all that turmoil and all that strife, what did they do? After everything that happened with it in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
I mean, but it's okay though, man. I mean, we gotta go through the bullshit there once in a while, shit.
But what I'm saying is that they bounced back and they began to rebuild. But instead, you have a lot of people who want to live off of the legacies of what everybody else did. And again, that's cool and that's all. That should be a blueprint. That should be a foundation. But why don't people do that now? Why don't black folks do that now? Like, what has changed? I mean, again, like I said,
why don't black people build up their own communities? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, there's more opportunity now than ever to do something.
Dude, all right, listen. Mm-hmm. This is really happening right now. In Oklahoma and Texas, black people are building up cities right now, and we don't know about it.
Okay. What cities?
Happening right now. Black Wall Street. You could Google it. It was on the news.
Okay, I'm in Texas. Let me know where it's at. 'Cause I'm in Texas right now, so I'd like to know where it's at. I might have to go do a special
Yeah,
den
I
from
think
there.
it was in either Oklahoma or Texas. It's another Black Wall Street that's springing up where there's a lot of black-owned businesses just springing up, and more black people are moving over there. Like even my sister lives in Texas now. She lives in Oklahoma and Texas, and right now it's booming over there because it's easy to get a job over there because they got a lot of construction happening, and it's happening everywhere. So what they're doing is educating black people on how to start a business real quick. And when they start a business, they create the business right there within this little small community, and it's flourishing. It really is. It was actually, I think it was on ABC News. They didn't put it on CNN because you don't want niggas to know everything, and everybody has you know how it was with the Harlem Renaissance.
Mm-hmm.
When black people moved from the south up north, it was the same shit. Like when black people moved from, like I live in Alabama, so you can't tell me there's a lot because my dad lived in New York.
Mm-hmm.
Like when they saw black people moving to up north, white people would go to the train stations and say, "Niggas, you staying here. You ain't going nowhere." Like they really did that shit. They did that shit. They were like, "Man, you know what? We can't have niggas up there making money. They might enslave everybody." Like that's really how their mind felt. They really thought we were gonna enslave them, so they said, "Shit, we can't have them up north." It really happens. But now people in California, they're trying to establish black economics over there because Compton, like that's where everybody bow down to games and shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
But over there, they got their own currency now. It's not nearly as valuable as the U.S. dollar, but what they're doing is saying, hey, if you shop black, you get extra money so that if you redeem this with a black company or a black business, you get extra benefits, which is a beautiful way to put it because who don't want benefits? Because the U.S. dollar going to crumble anyway. I mean, it's silver. It's going to demolish, like, over time, like, really quick. And the G is up. I mean, the Federal Reserve isn't even a U.S. entity. And, I mean, you just got to realize, if we can get everybody to realize that a game is being played, not the fact that what the game is, but the fact that a game's being played, and we the ones who can blow the shit up, I think a lot of shit can change. Until people start taking responsibility, and the adults have to take responsibility and admit what they wrong, because I mean y'all are elders.
Okay, I got two things for you, man. I got two things for you because I'm about to wind down here in just a second. But I got a question for you, man. How do you what are your political views? If you were to align yourself with any one of the parties that you mentioned, how would you identify yourself?
Dude, I got out of politics when I realized every single one of them is two sides of the same coin, bro. I don't even care about politics no more.
Okay.
Like, if you're telling me that, like, just think about it. They know do you know what the Electoral College is?
Yes, I'm familiar with the Electoral College.
Do you know what the Electoral College is?
Yes, I'm familiar with the Electoral College.
Okay, the Electoral College pretty much decides which candidates you can vote for. Period. They'll be like, you know what, this is your choices, saying you have a choice even though you don't. You never had a choice in who you could vote for. If we could, we'd put Jay-Z on the ballot, and every black person would be like, yeah, Jay-Z, he has money, billions. Let's vote for Jay-Z.
And that's why I can't be rocking with niggas, because niggas would do some stupid shit like that. And that's what I'm saying. But look, here's the deal, man. I want you to call me back because I'm going to get ready to wind it down here in a second, man, because about out that time. But we're going to talk about some stuff later. We probably bring this conversation up later tonight. If you're available later this evening, man, I'd love for you to call back in and hear some more of your views so we can continue this discussion, man.
Oh, no problem, man.
All right. But I appreciate you calling, man. Shout out.
All right, peace.
All right. We'll take this last one here. We'll take one more since y'all fussing it and arguing the chat. We're gonna make it quick and then I'm gonna wind it down. Let's see who we got. Who we got as the last caller today? What's the motherfucking deal? Who we got calling into the den this afternoon?
Hey, it's Andre.
Andre, what's the motherfucking deal, man? What's on your mind this afternoon?
Let me just kill this feed here so it limits that feedback. Okay, yeah. First I want to just get that last caller on the Negro Leagues. The reason most of the players started going over to MLB was to prove that they were good enough, they were strong enough, they were just as good, if not better, than the white players. It had nothing to do with, yeah, we want to fit in with this and we want to fit in with that. It was simply to prove their value as a player and their quality as a player. And I don't know, I've been just hearing too much ignorance over the last couple of days and stupidity of people thinking that they're smart and everything. And that piece just got me over my head, and I just had to pop in and say that, like, I can't even remember half the other stuff that dude said in the rest of the show, but like, not everything about like getting into stuff with like people in other races is to just integrate and be like, yeah, we cool with them, we cool with that, and all that shit. Like, a lot of it is just to prove, yeah, I'm in this, I do this, and I could do it just as good as you, if not better. And it's not just baseball, it's in other facts of life too, like in sciences, in everything. Because you have a lot of black scientists that get things back, like doctors and whatever, because simply of our skin color. And just don't get the chance in anything. Just like how females get held back regardless of their skin color, black females get it the worst. And then when they do get a chance to prove it, they still get held back. But when they do get to prove their worth, then they shine, and it's always like, oh, well, we never thought she could do something like that. And like with Obama, all of a sudden it was like, oh, he speaks so well. He speaks so well. And it's like, what is he supposed to be, like a fucking ape? You know what I'm saying? It's like, the guy's running for political office. He's going to be like coming up there like Lil Jon. Yeah. So what are your plans on doing on this platform? Well, okay. Well, all right. What were they expecting? What were they really expecting out of him?
I don't know. I mean, you know, people have just, you know, and I don't blame people, because if you don't interact with a certain culture a lot, you only have a limited expectations, or you only know you're going to gravitate to what you're familiar with. So if all you knew was, you know, I think it gets real complicated. I think it's really a deep dive, because if you only know so much about something, then when you're introduced to somebody who doesn't necessarily fit that mold, it's like then that helps open up your perspective. It helps give you a new insight. Okay, well, everything I always thought was that I've only seen there's no black people in my community. I've only seen them on TV, and TV portrays them all as rappers or this and that. Well, I thought all of you guys could do this. I thought, because that's all you know. You can't just expect people to go in and just do a diligent amount of research on something. And that's just kind of what I think people expect that. So I try not to fault people, but then there's certain levels of things, like you said, that, well, the guy's a politician, the guy's in a certain arena. There needs to be a certain level of expectation that the guy's not going to come out here and do a bunch of clown shit. But yeah, I get you.
Okay, but you can't tell me some of them didn't watch Chappelle's show and see Dave's skits on Lil Jon, where all of a sudden guy had a British accent and was speaking perfect English.
Yeah. Yeah, that shit was fucking funny as shit. Well, yes, Dave was classic, man. Dave could have been great for society, but people just were perceiving the messages the wrong way. But that was a great show, man.
Hmm. Yeah, well, no, I just had to pop in with that, like, especially the Negro Leagues, and like it's sad what ended up happening to the Negro Leagues, like how it just crumbled because then all of a sudden people started writing big checks for less work, and in a way you can't blame them. It's like, what? Only 1 day a week? I mean, 1 game a day?
Yeah.
Versus playing 3 games and you have to almost maybe walk to some of those games. You don't know if your ride's going to make it all the way, if you're going to be pushing the bus.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, we get hotels. And then you find out, oh, not the same hotel as the rest of the team. And all that, but either way, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, I got you. Alrighty.
Yeah.
Okay. And I think on Friday mornings, I know you asked about maybe having like a more free range conversation. We'll probably free range Friday on the morning. So I want to let you know about that. So if you got some ideas and things.
That long?
Yeah.
Like all the way on Friday?
Huh?
Well, what did it say? Today's Wednesday, though.
Wednesday, yeah. So on Friday, we'll probably start making that like a Friday morning thing. You know, we had a Friday night theme, and so the Friday morning thing will probably be more like free range conversations from here on out. We'll see how that works out.
No, make it a Friday night thing, because I need like the Friday night crew there. I need like the nighttime crew there, because it's a nighttime crew that been coming up on like some of these things, and they don't always show up in the daytime thing.
Okay. We'll see what they talk about. We'll see what's shaking with it. We'll see what we can get going with that.
All right.
Well, that's a bit Dre.
And
No?
don't worry about it. I'll email you.
All right, that's a bit.
All right.
All right, shout out to Dre. Appreciate
Okay,
the
take
call.
care.
Yeah.
Okay, bye.
So it looked like a couple of y'all had some thoughts on that last call. And look, man, y'all got me behind my schedule. Y'all got me behind pace. Make it quick. I'll take one more. I'll take one more. We'll see whoever gets in next. Because apparently y'all have some thoughts on some things that were being espoused, spoken. Just Miss Mita and they're always talking shit. Because I already know what you're going to say when you call. Look, y'all got 1 minute. If we don't receive a call in 1 minute, then I'm finna get ready to wrap it up. But, yeah. Oh, man. It's a whole lot of stuff that I want to address on that last call. I just don't really have time to get deep into it. Yeah, we got a sauce today. Don't really have time to get deep into it, so that's why I say tonight we'll probably continue this conversation on what do the youth or the parents owe the youth, because we're gonna talk about it. What's the motherfucking deal? Who do we have calling in to the den this evening or afternoon or whatever time it is? Damn it.
It's Belle calling back with rebuttal.
Okay.
The young kid, he was all over the place with everything. He was stating facts, but he was making everything completely generalized. Specific example. This is what I heard. Now, this may not have been what he said, but he was like, white women like black men but don't love black men. Now, if he's married to a white woman, that is telling a whole different story.
I agree. Yeah, that's
And I find a lot of things suspect when you start having conversations like that and make generalized statements. But coming back as a parent and as a daughter of having parents and the age group, there's a lot of things that have contributed to the breakdown in the American families. I mean, divorce is one of them, but also a good thing, bad thing, is CPS stepping in and paranoing even good parents about wanting to discipline their children. You know, I mean, I remember my mom saying, "Yeah, go ahead, call." You know what I mean? I'll get a break. So, and that's coming from a 70s and 80s generation. 90s generation, they don't, or even today, they don't think twice and they'll go pick the kid up. So when you've got good parents and just kids making bad decisions and things happening, it doesn't work well on both sides. Now, I'm not saying that every parent out there is a good parent, because God knows there are some really badass parents. But there's also some badass kids. You know, and the kid was talking about, it seemed to me that he said, you know, he was having a hard time finding role models. Well, you know what? You get to an age, or you get to a point when it's your responsibility who you pick to look up to. My dad died when I was a kid, so I had a godfather in the neighborhood who took me under his wing. And I'm not going to tell you he was the perfect parent, but him and his wife, they did well by me. And so sometimes you have to look for your own role models when they're not immediately there. Now, don't get me wrong, I love my mom. She's the best. But sometimes there's a need to fill in for a dad role model or a male role model. And that's where you have to look for it, whether you're playing sports or whether you're in school or academia. You know, somebody told me once a long time ago, you get to a certain age where you can't use your childhood as an excuse for bad behavior. And if we want somebody to teach us about respect and role models, we've got to find somebody that we want to emulate or who we respect in order to do that. It's sad that kids don't feel like that they have the parenting that they need to, but it's also hard as a parent when you don't feel like you have the respect from your children when you should have it as well. So it kind of goes both ways there. I'm pretty blessed with good kids. Got them both through high school. Neither one of them arrested. You know, I mean, one's working on college and the other one's working a full-time job into a career. Yeah. So I can't speak for any of that. I can just say that as a person who didn't have both my role models, I had to look for somebody that I admired in order to show me what was a positive thing. And parents aren't always going to be perfect. You know, are our youth trying to push perfection as parenting on us that is a little unrealistic?
Exactly.
You know, the entitlement issue really swings a lot of things when everybody's feelings are into it, and it's not just it is what it is. And I think I'll leave us on that till tonight. But, you know, we get a lot of great people and the folks that give a lot of good feedback. So I'm blessed to be a part of this group.
And I appreciate you being a part of this because I love a lot of the insight that you share and giving us various perspectives. And sometimes you provide a very unique perspective on certain topics, and I definitely appreciate that. But overall, even in general conversation, you provide very good insight, Ms. Bell, and I thank you for that.
All right. Well, we'll see you on the boards, and then I'll see you tonight.
All right. Thank you for calling in, Ms. Bell.
All right.
All right. All right. We'll leave it at that. I really got to slide to the left. Cha now, y'all. Now, yeah, Ms. Mead, if you catch it, that's what I'm saying. And for this for everybody, because sometimes I think some folks they come in a conversation late, and I don't know if y'all's buttons automatically activate or if it starts y'all at the beginning of the stream. But if you want to be live and in real time, make sure that you have the little red dot next to the word live is on, because if not, then you're probably going to be behind the stream a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So just a heads up, because sometimes I see people who be talking about something and they'll be like kind of comment on something. It'll be like 3 or 4 minutes later. I'm like, wait, what? Am I missing something? And so just make sure, like I said, because I see it a lot with a lot of different people usually. For some reason, Shannon always be behind. Shannon just be on colored people time deliberately. But But yeah, because like I said, because I want to think, because I'm thinking today and yesterday, because I know I was saying I was waiting on your call, and then after I took another call, then you was like, I thought you ain't want to let me call in. So I don't do you that bad just because you from Atlanta. But I ain't gonna do you like that. Outside of that, man, I appreciate y'all for tuning in. I got to slide, take care of a couple of things. Like I said, I told you I had to sit down with myself last night. Then I have to push myself to a higher standard. And so expect, like I told y'all, in the short videos that I put on YouTube, there will be minimal profanity. Okay, the profanity will be minimized. So I might not, I don't even know, I'm still debating if I'm even start off with what's the motherfucking deal, because I mean, literally in the first second of the video, it's profanity, an intense profanity, not even like a damn or a darn. So, but when I start dropping the content for, like I said, the Patreon and stuff, I'm gonna give it to you raw. Fuck you too. Well, there's the monetize. But so part of that is growth. Part of that is, this content, like I say, and I appreciate y'all and I love the community, but if the community is going to grow and we're going to do things to get it to where it needs to be, it's the short content that grows. The live streams are for the people. And so I'm going to focus on that. But with that being said, I appreciate each and every one of you for joining. Let's get the proper protocols. You know what I'm talking about? Slide through. Well, I guess I'll just do it manually. You can follow Ed Honcho, HTX, Instagram, and the Twitter sphere if you want to follow my personal social medias. If you enjoy the content, hit the like button, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and then, man, 335 is a reason that's really, really funny. I'm gonna tell you in just a second. Like the video, subscribe, and make sure you share the video, okay? Because like I said, I've been looking at some things and then the little analytics, and I've noticed some stuff. I think they got me, but it's all good, man. If you like the content, share the video. I appreciate everybody who comes through. That heckin' shit is so funny because I told you I watch animal videos from time to time, and fucking look at DeMarkey, look at you. You a moderator, you like shame on you. I'm gonna be watching these dogs. It's like these, I don't know what they are, Shiba Inus or whatever they are. It's like a little family of them. And that's what they be doing. They be putting like little translations next to them and shit. Those dog videos make they get millions of views. Scotty, if he wasn't so fucking lazy, he should have a channel. But he would only be good for like 2-minute videos a year. But that's what they put. They'll be put heckin' and what the heck this and all kind of weird little shit. And that shit has me dying fucking laughing just because it's just thrown off. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, even though the Instagram and the Gmail little things didn't show up. All Den Show Live. So Den Show Live Facebook. You can like the Facebook page. You can follow the Den Show Live page on Instagram and Twitter to remain updated. Because like I said, we still catching some flag. I did some things, but it's still doing some of the same lageration. We're gonna figure out what's going on with that. So let's see what else we got here. 1 p.m. afternoon dens, rest of the week till Friday. Even though we got started at 1:30 today. That's part of me trying to get the schedule and everything back in order. 10 p.m. tonight, we will be on time. We'll probably talk about the youth situation tonight. So we will discuss that. Don't wear brown shirts around DeMarkey. He will sexually harass you. And, I'm all about the Me Too movement. Den Show Podcast. If you can't watch, make sure you listen. I'll be uploading a lot of content to that today. For the sauce folks, yes, we will have a sauce stream later today. Den Show Shop. You want that Den Show merch? Go to denshowshop.com. Get you some of that Den Show merch. Get you a t-shirt. Get you a mug. Join the Mug Thugs. Crowder got the Mug Club. We're gonna join the Mug Thugs. If you want to call, you can call 833-284-3336. You can call when the den line is on, when the den is on or when the den is off. If it goes to voicemail, leave a voicemail. I'll try to get back with you. You can text, you can send a picture message, you can send links. If you got stories and stuff that you want to share, I definitely appreciate those. If you don't want to do it by email, you can always do it by phone. I know it's more convenient for some of you. Shout out to Dan Strong, man. If you want to support the channel, you go to streamlabs.com/The Den Show. Man, like I said, I will be working on something with that so you guys don't have to miss any of the stream when you're going to that. I know some people say they do when they They have to switch pages or whatever, so I'll be working on that. Hopefully get that done by Friday. And patreon.com/The Den Show if you want to pledge to the long-term success of this community on a month-to-month basis. Shout out to James, Tina Starry-Eyed, Betty Spaghetti, Miss Goya, Diana, Dan the Man, Donald Trump, and Miss Grace. I appreciate all of you for your long-term faith in the Den, and I know all of the denizens, Den folks, Dengenerates, and friends in the Den also appreciate it too. So I appreciate it, and thank all of you. Yeah, I gotta get ready to handle some things, but wow, look at that. Trill agreeing with DeMarque. It's time to end the stream. Fuck all y'all. Goddamn it, I'm out of here. I don't want to hear this nonsense. I'm gone. I love y'all, but I'm gone. Y'all, this is shenanigans and tomfoolery. I ain't gotta listen. Now, the day that Trill and DeMarque on the same page is the day that this just it's time to just this over with. You do a soundtrack for Scotty. It would sound like some old, you know that episode of Family Guy where he was following him around with the little tuba doo 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 doo. That's what Scotty's soundtrack would sound like. Man, I'm out, y'all. I appreciate y'all coming through, man. I'll catch y'all tonight at 10, and y'all be cool. I'm finna steal somebody's pistachios real quick though before I get